WarsawJS.
One.
Awesome. Hello, WarsawJS. Thank you very much for having me here. And thank you to Snowflake for letting us feast on this beautiful infrastructure. It's really a great place. Anyway, today I have a little bit of a clickbaity title. And also, this is the first time I'm doing this, which includes a bit of live coding. So if thing goes sideways, just bear with me. All right. Now, this is a WarsawJS Meetup. And who here thinks they know JavaScript? That is way less hands than I expect. So, has anyone ever been on engineering JavaScript interview on either side, either as an attendee, interviewer? Come on. Nice. Oh, have you ever seen a question like this? Does anyone know the answer to the question? What's the order of the console logs that are going to pop up? So, Piotr, you raised your hand. You know the answer? No? Okay. So, in my opinion, the answer to this question, the correct answer is, I have no idea, but I know how to find out. And this is something I want at least some of you to be able to say by the end of this talk. And all right, anyway, my name is Mikhail. I work as a developer experience engineer in a company called StopTel. These days I'm mostly busy with all the things about developer happiness and front-end infrastructure. Usually I talk about silly things, like, I like for the people to have a little bit of fun in their lives, but today I'm going to be a little bit more serious, and I'm going to say that you don't have to know everything. With all those frameworks and things appearing out of nowhere every other week, you feel like you're going to miss out on stuff if you don't jump right into it. But I'm going to say that you don't have to. For instance, anyone here familiar with React? Nice, awesome. And does anyone actually know how React hooks work under the hood? Exactly, it's magic. Does anyone know how Svelte reactivity works? No? Okay. Anyway, and I think you don't have to know. As someone said, it is magic, and you can understand magic, and with time and experience you get over the time, you will learn all the shortcomings and edge cases of the said technology, but you don't have to actually know how it works under the hood. It's magic. You can learn it, you can harness the magic, and you can learn how to use it. But it's nice to know, isn't it? So, with that said, over I don't know how many years, recent years, the JavaScript has been taken as a programming language of choice over consumer application development space. It's relatively easy to find JavaScript developers to write your web apps, desktop apps, mobile apps, edge, server, cloud, you name it. We even sent JavaScript to space at some point. And yeah, there are a lot of flavors of JavaScript, and someone said like TypeScript plus, TypeScript, ReasonML, Flow, you name it. But at the end, it's always the JavaScript that comes out. And anyone else feels frustrated that everything runs on JavaScript? I don't feel the good thing that there is a whole browser shipped with my Slack, right? Or something like this. No? Okay. Yeah, I actually feel the same way, but I also think that it's amazing that everything runs on JavaScript. And the reason is, everything that runs in your browser or in other runtimes, and it's JavaScript, it can be broken down, changed, overridden, and disassembled in real time. It's kind of like it gives you the superpowers, kind of repairing the car that you are driving on the highway. And here's a let me show you the simple example. Can I switch to this? Whoop. Okay. Sorry. Let's say you wanted to look up a recipe for world's best pancakes. And I hope I'm not the only one who does it. So you see you looked it up. And oh, there's something that popped up that messes up with your browsing experience. You really want to get as fast as you can to those pancakes. So what do? You just fire up your trusted dev tools, and you just remove that, right? Please tell me I'm not the only one who does that. This is for stuff like adblock. Please disable the adblock. Okay, I will. Yeah, we all do that, obviously. And it works, and that is beautiful. All right, now I guess it's story time. There is a website called thegarden.com.us, which is a US-based healthy food small-ish fancy online retailer store. And there's a promotion on this website, which is for every $200 you spend, you get kind of a chance to enroll into kind of promotional lottery, whatever. And you log in as a respectable customer with your loyalty ID, and then you get to, flip some cards around and get some discounts, right? So you press this, you press here, boom, you get some offers. It's nice, looks okay. You can run to the store and buy some stuff, I guess. And I said to myself, okay, it's good. You can do it once per week. Once per day. And I did it on the first day. Okay, next day I came in again, and I again rolled some of the other discounts. And on the Wednesday, I thought to myself, I feel like there's something off about this. I don't know why, but maybe it's just me that I'm a bit weird about this. Actually, let me log out. I have another customer ID that I borrowed. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't know why, but as a matter of fact, I worked in a similar company before, and every Black Friday, every significant event, I would do something like this to lure the customers. And I know this is always for the business benefit, right? I want to be, but okay. What I did is every time I wanted to mess with a website, I just open up Web Tools and I go to the Network tab. See if something's happening. There's some analytics request. We can actually filter the. Is it visible enough? Is it bad? Is it big? Is it small? It's okay. Awesome. So every time I click somewhere, there's an analytics event, which we will filter out for the later. Oop. That's the way. And then I press the button, and I got 2 requests. Okay, let's reveal some cards, and we can see. Anyone sees anything suspicious? There is no request being made as soon as I reveal the cards, which means those bastards rigged the game. They already know what I want even before I flip the cards. And I don't like that. I don't like to be a product. I want to know. It feels like an unfair game, right? And at this point, I could be disappointed and just walked away, but no, I didn't even start the timer. Okay. So I thought to myself, I want to play a little detective game because that's what I usually do, for no reason at all. Okay, let me see. I discovered several things. First of all, I went to the cookies tab that we have here and actually figure out that they store each of your attempts, they store in the cookie. And if you remove that cookie, you can just play again. It's kind of funny. Just a side note. Yeah, you can just go flip the cards again, get a different offer if you want. But the offer is never fair because you always see that there are some big discounts, like 70%, 79%. I always wanted to get those. I figured, what if I, somehow tap into the website code and figure it out? Now we actually know that we can just remove the cookie. It's much easier to manipulate the website in any way. Just remove that, go again, refresh the website just in case. So there are several, when you don't know what you're looking for, you have several entry points into, say, the runtime of the code. You can either break your code when something in the web page changes, or if there's always has to be some data coming into your client side from the server side. So we could also try to look for that. So let's play again and look at our network tab. We have 2 requests here. And none of them actually contains what we are interested in. So let's just pop this off quickly. Oh, no, I need to remove my cookie again. All right. Let's try this again. And we will start by going to my second favorite Chrome Developer Tools tab, which is called Sources, which is where all the JavaScript lives. It's whatever comes from the server, whatever lives in our browser now. And if we don't know where is the point of what we're looking for, there are several ways to break your code at a given point. And one of those is stop when network requests come through. So, and I press the start button, my code breaks as expected. This one looks like an analytics, so we're not interested. We just go to the next one. And this request, let me pop this off like this. This request looks like maybe it's something that we're looking for. And in order for us to actually check it out, we look into this beautiful call stack tab, which you kind of, this is at some point somewhere here. What? No. Hello. I didn't do anything. I get extra minutes for that, right? That is not illegal. Oh, I forgot to do. Okay. All good? Awesome. Sweet. All right. We see the call stack tab. And you can travel through it to see where actually the request is coming from. Right? All good? Awesome. All right. So you can see you just go and press random places. You can see this kind of looks like a framework internals. There are some things that may be related to how whatever technology the website is using. But down here we have something called onStart, which is human readable. And it does look to me a little bit like a business logic kind of ish thing. It's some React components I can see here, and it's all right. I know that this looks like, obviously I already know that because I already done that, but for the sake of saving time, I'm just going to say that it is what we're looking for. Okay, so now give me back. So let's place a breakpoint here, which is when something happens. And this is how we got here through the call stack, all right? And then we are going to continue our code. Oh yeah, let's remove the original thing in here. Yeah. And we got an array of something from the server, which is, let's check it out, in the scope, and that is exactly what we were looking for, an array of products. It was easy, why are you clapping? And yeah, so we have, actually there's even a property that's called possible true. That's insane, they already know that we rigged everything. So we have an array of 9 things, which are cards, I assume. And judging by this, I get kombucha tea and fruit and nut bars if nothing is getting shuffled. And yeah, there it is. So exactly, we already know before we even reveal the cards. That all makes sense. But now I just wanted to, how much time do I have? No idea. Okay. Now I just wanted to share little tricks because all of this code is, as you can see, it is minified. Before, the big JavaScript lobby came in and asked us, okay, now we're going to have frameworks. We'll build everything. Everything will be mangled and impossible to read for the human. Before that, it was pretty good. Every time you would go to a website, you could just open the source code, and whatever you see is whatever developers are intended. But here, I'm actually going to use something very interesting, another great feature of the Chrome developer tools, which is we can overwrite any file with a local copy of what we are. Basically, we can tell the Chrome that this file is now our local file. And that allows us to change the tires of the car that's on the highway, as I said before. Now we got it in a folder somewhere, and for that I usually switch to IDE because it has some nice refactoring capabilities. All right, let me see. And this is how I would usually, anyone actually ever approached something like disassembling machine code? Nice, nice. So you know, like this process is actually, even though it's not a machine code, but the process is very similar. You go through something that is not human readable, and you make it human readable by trying to understand what does it do. And I will again skip through some of this stuff because I know it's not relevant. And I think, yeah, that is basically the component that we are trying to understand. We already figured out that it is React, and it returns some JSX, whatever. And that thing, let's start with just renaming the function, which is going to be some game component. Is the font big enough? Should it be bigger? Like this. Ooh, much better. And we have the props here, which we rename. The reason I'm using ID is because I can right away I rename all the occurrences in the file at the same time. And we are getting some stuff from props, has played from props, I would say, and last date, FP, let's say, to save some time. And this is coming from props, so I assume this is when you have already played the game before. This is how the component knows it. And this looks obviously like a React use state, which this one is already, we have already unminified it in our mind and in the code in some way. And we can see that if you have played from props, something is restored, otherwise it's intro. So I would assume that this is something like a game state. Game state, renaming, and set game state. All right, next one is an array. We have no idea what it is right now. So we can just call it some array. And this one's gonna be set some array. All right, next one, another set state, use state, which is object from entries array from array 9 keys map, which is, okay, this one is creating an object from 0 to 8 with nulls as keys, which actually coincidentally looks like the cards that we have here. So I would call this card state, for example. Card state, and this one's gonna be set card state. But you see the pattern. So we go over, as we uncover more and more variables, we start to understand what the code actually does without having any access to the source file. And this one is 0, so it's a number. And number. Is it too boring? It's fun? So I don't know. For me, it's always funny because it's kind of like a detective game. You uncover stuff. Okay, this one is not a number. Oh, I messed it up. Give me a second. Yeah, it's going to be set number. I'm not even pressing shift. Okay, then we have a use effect. If player has played from props, then something happens, and we set some array to the result of whatever happens. I assume this is to retrieve our products from the server, the one that we have already discovered. So set some array is actually, let's say, set product list, maybe? Okay, I messed it up, but it's fine. And this is going to be product list. This is just a suggestion. You can rename them later, whatever you want. Let's go next, and we see a long function. Actually, I also like to collapse the functions that I'm already sort of done with. And here we have a function that says if a number is less than 2, we increment it. And I assume this is what happens when you press on the card. So you rename the function on card press. And it's probably an index of some sort. So we see we increase then a number. Oh, what is the number actually? I know, but I think that you think that this is attempts. Set attempt, let's say. Attempy. All right. And from this, we can kind of see how the stuff works. So this is where you press on the card, something happens. And if this is the second, so it's probably starts from 0. When it's the last attempt, you reveal all the cards, and then you set the game state to finish. And just by doing stuff like this, you can reverse engineer everything. And it's not easy. In some cases it's very easy. In some cases, you already have the source code for free, which is amazing. And here we have on start, something happens, we set the product list and set the game state to start it. So I assume this is what we were looking for originally. Let's just console log it at some point. Log. Almost done, Barry. Then we save it. And this is actually how we modified stuff at runtime. We press on the start, and it should be in the console, right here. We changed the website source code, and we know now the stuff that was supposed to happen. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit rushed. There's a lot of stuff I would like to talk about regarding the reverse engineering. It's a very incredibly fun activity. And also, of course, this website is not real because, yes, it just runs on my computer. But the story is real because that's actually something that happened to me. But for obvious reasons, I cannot replicate it here, and it would be considered illegal, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, think it's time for the final slide. Thank you for your time. And awesome. This is just a QR code if you want to contact with me. This is a website that has all my data. And thank you again.
Mikhail, thank you very much. Anyone have any questions for Mikhail? First question, here we go.
Hello. So I wonder, what's your reverse engineering story at work? Have you ever encountered a case when you had to do something similar? Or in private life?
I think, yes. I think one of the worst case scenarios of this was that we had some kind of analytics side, like analytics that we do not own, that comes from somewhere, and it was causing a terrible mess in our loading times on the web because we were fighting for the bytes. Because at that time, there was when Core Web Vitals were announced that they would affect your CEO rating in Google. And we noticed that the analytics from the side is terribly lagging our website. So we reached out to the engineers on the analytics company. They said, yeah, we'll fix it sometime. And then we just had to kind of reverse engineer, find out what exactly is causing the lag, fix it, and basically just sent the guys like, okay, this is the new version, we fixed it. This is exactly what you need to do. And they shipped the new version on the next day. That was a great win.
Thank you. I always think of ufology when I hear reverse engineering. I mean, I know this stuff is complicated or complex. It always makes me think of reverse engineering some kind of alien spacecraft. Anyone else have another question for Mikhail? Come on, reverse engineering. How do we? I have a question. Oh, here you go.
So I was about to ask, maybe there are some tools that you would recommend for reverse engineering, like demangling, JS code to some kind of possible original form, right?
Yeah. So I actually don't really have anything specific. There is. So I used to do I would copy the code to the IDE and just press like unminify button, so it will look nicer because it's one single line, obviously, from when it comes from. But now it's built into the DevTools. So DevTools has gotten so much better, and even if they had refactoring capabilities for renaming the variables, that would be all what I would have needed to. But for now, it's just probably pretty much any IDE you would do, you can do. That has the refactoring capabilities, that what you would use. Exactly. Something like this.
Good answer. Any other question for Mikhail before we move on? I have a very basic question. This might sound very uninformed.
Is it about AI?
It's not about AI. For anyone who knows, it's like, please don't bring up AI. I'm wondering how important, or if it's possible to reverse engineer any application, any program without documentation. How difficult? Is it possible?
Yes.
Which question are you answering? I mean, how important is documentation?
Documentation?
Yeah.
Like if the app is built and is not supposed to be tampered with, like a website, why would you provide instructions on how to reverse engineer your own website? No.
Well, no,
it's not something people do.
Yeah, it generally would not be, if you have no access to how the thing was built.
Yeah, exactly.
It is then possible to reverse engineer using the techniques
but
that you
I think it's almost always possible to reverse engineer anything.
True.
Given enough time, and
given enough time. Okay. Yeah. Is that true? Okay, that was just a question that always confounded me. Like, how can you know where you are if you don't know where you came from? And it's perplexing for persons like myself. Mikhail, thank you very much. One more time. Give him a really big hand for his presentation.